Well, this was a strong but unsatisfying week. If you're new here, my name is Kevin, the Stoic Reseller. I buy new and used clothing from thrift stores and online marketplaces to sell on Poshmark and eBay for a profit. If you're into deep dives, what sold, thrift hauls, and honest reselling advice, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment below, and let's jump into the week of 11/17 to 11/23. Sorry for the delay, guys. Just been really busy. Obviously, last week was Thanksgiving, so I didn't have too much to record. I also didn't do any thrifting this past weekend, so what you're going to get is this video, and then, which is 2 weeks ago's what sold. And then tomorrow, you're going to get last week's what sold. And then on Friday, you should get a update on the second eBay store to see what's going on with that, which has actually been pretty interesting. There's been some really interesting stuff happening there. So, without further ado, though, let's get into the week of 11/17 to 11/23, which is 2 weeks ago. On eBay, let me pull up my numbers. We had 3,844.79. That's our total sales. You can see that that was up 17% from week over week for that same period. Our net sales was up 13.7%. So we, after eBay fees, promoted listings, shipping, it was $2,295.78 was our take home from eBay. That's what eBay sent us in deposits. We sold 142 items, which, to be fair, I've had a guy that's just come in and just anytime I reset my my sales, he comes in and gets the cheapest stuff, just bulks it all together, and just gets like 17 to 20 items at like dirt prices, rock bottom. So, I'm happy to get rid of it. It's not in my inventory anymore, and it just see ya. But because of that, it's bringing my average sales price down. So you can see $27.08 because most of what he's buying is under like $8. So, anyways, we had 110 unique buyers. Let's look here. Our top 5 categories on eBay was number 1 activewear pants, which was down quite a bit, but still in top place at 13.51% of sales. Activewear tops was number 2 for men, up 138%, almost 139. Accounted for 10.73% of sales. See, the next one is men's shirts. Button downs was down quite a bit, but in third was counted for 7%. Men's ties. This was an interesting one. We had a string of tie sales, up a lot to 6.5% of my sales. And coming in at number 5 was women's activewear pants, down quite a bit in the percentage of total sales, but still equated to almost 6% of total sales. The other thing to note here was, let's go down here, total sales, my sales costs was 35% of total sales, so not bad. So let's look at the top sales. Remember, this is only going to be items $40 and above, starting with the highest dollar and kind of going down from there. The first item is this G4. This is the Killer Hybrid Puffer. You can see it's got all this puffer down in here. This was a wool. It had this really large skull. I had listed this September 24th and it sold November 23rd. Took 2 months. I think the problem with this is G4 just isn't as strong as it once was, and I might have overpriced it. But at the time, I was the only person with this item. 2, generally speaking, anything over $100 is a little bit longer of a hold item because there's just less buyers overall that are willing to pay for it. But yeah, this took 2 months to sell. I did have a small flaw in the sleeve, and like a small snag, but would I buy this item again, knowing that it would take 2 months? Absolutely. I'm always willing to do that if the item's going to sell for like over $100. To me, that's just more than reasonable. If it was like a $30 item and having to sit on it for 60 days, probably wouldn't be the best item. Next is a Relwyn sweater. This was sourced on an online auction. I got this one and another one. The other one just sold the other day. I think yesterday, actually. Really nice. This was the Old Salt shawl. This sold not super quickly. Listed August 20th. Sold November 18th. So, September, October, almost 3 months. And again, would I buy this if I saw it at the thrift store? Absolutely. Relevant outerwear like jackets, sweaters are generally some of the best selling things that they sell. And generally speaking, has a very strong demand, which translates to a high conversion rate for this brand as a whole. Now, the one thing I would caution is, they make pants, they make shirts, things like that. The pants do okay. The shirts have fallen off completely, just like every other men's brand. You really have a hard time. But jackets, sweaters, things of the sort like that, always a good pickup. And maybe I listed this too soon. It was still extremely hot in August. But yeah, I would absolutely pick this up. Another item that was listed over $100. If I would have waited a month, it would have probably sold a lot quicker. Next is a tie. I had bought a couple of these online that were new with tags. I still have one, and you're going to see something. It was listed August 10th, sold on November 20th. Now, I did price these at $150, and I took an offer of like $75, I think. I do believe I overpriced these. A used Salvador Ferragamo, I've been listing at around $40, depending on pattern. Most of them 35 to 40. So you don't see too many new ones online. You can see the MSRP was 200, and had a cool print. So these cool little monkeys. Now, if I found this in the wild, obviously we'd pick this up. Ties are just generally it's like blazers or other men's professional wear. You have to expect that you're going to be sitting on it for a period of time. Now, I probably, if I had to relist this all over again, I would certainly price it lower. I'd probably price this around $100 and then, go from there. The next is a Lululemon blazer. This was a return and then it resold. So I relisted it November 12th, sold November 18th. These are no-brainers. This did have some weird markings on it, but the jacket overall was in really good shape. Not really sure what these were. But yeah, excellent item. Lululemon blazers are really good. Listed it for $90. Someone came in at $65. I just wanted to see it gone again, honestly. So here's a cool find. This was a Liverpool puffer down insulated vest from Nike, basically in brand new condition. Listed it October 14th, sold November 18th, so did take just over 30 days. Now, I absolutely would pick this up again. $70, that's a really strong sale, and it was just over 30 days. So I'm not going to be too nitpicky with this. Certainly at the right time. Now, if I saw this in July, boy, that'd be a tough question. Knowing that it would sell for, over $50, it's a possibility. It just depends. I probably wouldn't pay full price if it was over $20 because I think I paid $25 for this. So, knowing that in the middle of like August or July, I wouldn't have picked it up at full price. But, maybe I'd wait for clearance, and if I got lucky enough, absolutely. But yeah, this is just one of those items that I just think it was just the right time at the right place. But absolutely, right now you should be picking up this kind of stuff. Here's a blazer. Now, the buyer does want to return this. It was listed November 17th, sold November 18th. The buyer said it just doesn't fit, it's the risk you have with these kind of blazers, with any blazer. People generally have a fit or a look that they want, and if it just doesn't jive with them. But regardless, this was a very, very good blazer. E. Thomas mixed with Brooks Brothers and a Fitzgerald. $80 blazer, sold very quickly. Size 42 regular, again, one of the best sizes. I've come to find out that a size 42 is generally one of the best sizes you can find. So, yeah. I'm still waiting to see if this guy returns it. If not, no biggie. If he does, I'm sure it'll sell quick again. Here's an item that I highlighted in a haul. This is Nike Every Stitch Considered, or ESC. Now, This felt excellent. Not my size. I'm really not a big Nike fan in general, like wearing it. But there are big, huge fans. There you go. Nike Every Stitch Considered. This is like the top of the top line of everyday Nike pieces. This was listed November 4th, sold the 21st, took 17 days. I did accept an offer of $60. And now you're going to say, well, that seems really low compared to what is currently listed. And that is because even at $80, I felt was too high. But I didn't want to list too high, which was like everyone's in the hundreds. And so I was like, you know what, undercut it at 80, and $60 was still a great sale. I think I got this for like $10. So yeah, this is something I would buy probably in the middle of September. It's just that good of a line from Nike, and if you can get it at the right price, it's really awesome. Ibex pants. These were some cargo pants. Listed the 12th of November, sold November 19th. Took a week. What did I take? A $60 offer on these as well. These were a cool find. Ibex still does really well. These, I believe, were men's. Yeah, men's 30. I will say Ibex just isn't as strong as it once was. I have some of their outerwear, like their jackets and things, and for whatever reason, they are just not either commanding the higher prices that I'm used to, or they just sit a little bit longer than I'm expecting. So, but it seems like if you can find the pants, which are pretty rare, they sell quickly and for good money. Yeah. Let's go on. Ooh, this is a fun one. Took an offer of $51. Listed November 18th. Sold November 22nd. This was just a plain Holderness and Bourne hoodie. Really nice. This had a very strong conversion rate. A lot of demand for this specific hoodie. Listed it for 65. Took an offer of 51. Again, only took 4 days. This is the kind of stuff that I wish I could find, 100 to 200 every single time I go, because I'd be a lot richer. But yeah, Holderness and Bourne. The polos are kind of hit and miss, but the outerwear, again, the pants, all do really well. I'm really, really impressed by this brand and how strong it is. Here's some Nike Tech Pack woven cargos. Anytime you see Nike with these like bowed out legs like this, like these 3D, these generally are pretty good. Listed for 65, sold for $50. Listed the 18th, sold the 22nd. Took 4 days. I sell a lot of Nike, guys. Nike sells. It's literally, I think, my best overall brand that I sell, and I don't think that will ever change. Here's some Beyond Yoga leggings. Listed the 11th, sold the 20th. I will say that it was quite surprising. Now, there was a decent amount of demand for this item. However, it was a woman's small. So, generally, when you get to that small and extra small for women, demand's a little up in the air. But the At Your Leisure midi was a strong one, and this was new with tags. So, did really well there. Happy about that. Did take 9 days, and yeah, I don't know why. Someone probably just used a coupon or whatever, but yeah, I'd buy that again. That's a really good item. I'd buy that probably at any time of the year. Next for here, this was a little bit surprising in how long it took. November 5th to November 17th. I've bought these loggerheads before, and maybe Howler Brothers is just a brand that's kind of fallen off. But took an offer of 40, had it listed for 50. Definitely worth your while. Was new with tags, but had like a little small flaw. Really good item. I mean, I like Howler Brothers as a whole, but it's certainly getting maybe a little bit more flooded. The demand for the item, the brand is falling off. I don't see too many places carrying it anymore, so be hesitant when you see this. I still pick up most of their stuff, but yeah, just be cautious. Here is a Pendleton shirt. This was the Scout flannel. Listed the 7th of November, sold November 18th, took 11 days. Now, you're going to see something here. The only reason I knew it was Pendleton is by the buttons here because the interior tag, as you can see here, is missing. And the reason I know it was a Scout was you just Google Lens it. So, but yeah, really good item. Pendleton generally is really good. If this would have had the tag at the collar here, I would have been able to sell it for maybe about $10 more. But, you know, sometimes you just want to move something. The thrift store didn't know what they had. I think I paid like $8. So, still a really good sale. Sold within 30 days. I certainly would pick that up again. Here's something that really took a long time, and I think it's because it was a small. If this was any other large, this would have probably moved within 30 days. Listed August 23rd, sold November 18th. So it took almost 3 months. But it was a Mamba jersey, but it with the Gigi on the back, and Mamba Sita. This was kind of a tribute jersey from my understanding. Yeah, really good jersey. I had it listed for $50. So someone came in and bought it at $42.49. So it was on a 15% off, and then I'm sure someone used my coupon on top of it. So would I buy this again? Absolutely. Maybe I'd price it a little bit lower though. Here's a really interesting item because I generally count this brand out, and actually I'm actively thinking about buying one of their pieces. Young LA. This is the 465 superhero compression shirt. And this was listed October 28th, sold November 22nd. So almost took a full 30 days. But the way you know it's the superhero one is with how all this like accents here. Really, really good item. If you actually look this up, it's got a extremely high demand. Sold for $40, which is very high for this brand in general. Most of their stuff sells within like the $15 to $25 range. But this one, because of, I don't know, sells really good at this price range. But yeah, that's the last thing for eBay. Let me reset and show you what happened on Poshmark. Like I said, that only took a few seconds. So Poshmark, we had, what did I write here? 33 total sales. Pretty strong weekend, or pretty strong week for Poshmark as a whole, with just under $1,000 of sales. We had these Steo pants. These were the Pinedale soft shell for women. Those sold extremely quickly for $58. Steo and just in general, men and women, is really good. Some Bonobos pants, that's interesting. This Leet jacket. Now I found a couple of these recently. This one did take, I want to say, now I could do the math, but I think this one took, where's what was the number on it? I don't know what the code was, but that's kind of strange. But anyways, it took a little over 30 days, but still sold very quickly for $63. It's just one of those kind of lesser known motorcycle brands, but the brand as a whole sells for a lot of money. So let's look here. What else we got? Anything more interesting? We got a Kiwi sweater for women, sold for $33. If you don't know Kiwi, you need to be picking up almost everything in that brand. Brooks Brothers tie. I sell literally anything I sell on eBay sells over here on Poshmark. This was a new with tags Brooks Brother. So $25 was more than fair. Some Quandary pants from Patagonia, a Peter Millar Perth, a Legends hoodie. Legends is another really good activewear brand. I love it. Mizzen and Main. I still am able to sell these. I know if you look at the comps on eBay, demand for it is plummeted off the cliff. The amount you can get for it is plummeted off the cliff, but I can still get 25 around there, 23 on Posh. So I still buy because I'm still able to move them for whatever reason. Again, guys, Ralph Lauren, this was something that sold within 30 days, and anything unique. This is a bandana, bandana paisley popover because it's a half button. So yeah, remember, anything unique with Polo Ralph Lauren, pick it up. Sold quickly for $42. Let's look here. Prana hail pants, some Dynama pants, more hail pants. This stuff has been selling so quick for me. I've been picking up a lot of them. Ariat Pro. This was cool. These equestrian pants. I've sold this a couple times in my resale career. Just really high end. And Ariat Pro. If you see Ariat Pro equestrian pants, pick them up. Really good. Sold within days. Let's see here. Patagonia sweater, better sweater, sold for $30. Beyond Yoga and some Lululemon. So yeah, there you go, guys. That was 2 weeks ago. Again, be on the lookout for what sold last week, and that'll be on for tomorrow. And yeah, let me know, guys. What was your favorite sale of mine from 2 weeks ago? What was your best sale from 2 weeks ago? How are sales currently? Let me know in the comments section. I'd love to know. And guys, always never forget to rule the day.